All right, just landed on Mars with our favorite crew, NASA. The
Hey.
winners of the race here.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
welcome back to Tea Time and the Circle Club. I'm here with the lovely, beautiful Miss Talia, as always. How you doing?
I'm doing good, but I'm just waiting for this image. If y'all don't know already,
Yeah,
James Webb is releasing just one today, releasing four more tomorrow.
yeah.
But Sleepy Joe, he's just taking his time,
Sleepy Joe
taking his
taking
time.
his time. Come on, like you told us at first 10:30, and now it's
Hmm.
5:30, and actually it's 6 time of recording. Come on,
True. Come on.
but we are here to talk about For All Mankind today,
Yes, we are.
season 3, episode 5. So finally, we got to the end of this race here. But before we
Thank
got
God.
there, I know, before we even got there, a lot of drama. We got drama with Karen, drama with the Russians. We
Mm-hmm.
got Aleda and Margot digging into stuff.
Mm.
It looked
Just a
like,
lot.
yeah, Danny and Ed seemed like they were gonna go like almost like fight at one point. I thought him sneaking into his messages, like, whew,
Oh my God. Oh, so
messy.
cringy.
I know, so cringy. What was the first thing out of all those that kind of made you like be like, wow?
I think I think for me, probably this whole like landing aspect. I was telling you earlier, like
Yeah.
just the last 10 minutes of seeing if it's gonna be, NASA or Helios, who's
Mm-hmm.
it gonna be? Um, just on my toes. I didn't know who was gonna land, and I'm glad it was NASA at the end,
Yes.
just because I just felt like they deserve it, and I
Mm-hmm.
think, just going back to, Danny's kind of method of going by the rules, just going by,
Yes.
looking out for her team first.
Honor.
Exactly. So that kind of makes sense to them landing, but I did feel bad for Ed. I did feel bad
Yes.
for Ed, not doing it as he, tried the first time with Apollo 10,
Yeah.
but it's
you
okay.
know, you know the thing is, it's like you feel bad, but at the same
Mhm.
time, like I think about the intentions of Helios versus NASA, and
Yeah.
Danielle, she was like, we're not gonna go down there, risk our crew, risk people. It's got to be the right timing. It's got to be proper
Exactly.
fitting. And she waited with the science, right? She led with science versus trying to lead by like win, 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 and we're the
Mhm.
first. And the thing about Helios is they still will be able to go to Mars, right? Like they still will be able to say, "Hey, we're in Mars." So I think that ultimately, even though they weren't first, it doesn't matter because they're still gonna get to go there. And I think
Exactly.
Ed understands that too, where he's like, it's competitive, it's a race, but at the end of the day, this is about making sure people get back home safely. And I think
Mhm.
and that's why I think true to who he is a NASA person. He's a NASA guy, and I think as that he kind of lost that a little bit on his journey to get to Mars, but ultimately he kind of came back and found his way. We saw that Karen quit from Helios. Karen
She
quit.
did.
What was your reaction to that?
I'm glad she did.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, I think she jumped
Dev.
too fast with this idea of Helios being, the next big thing, the next
Mm-hmm.
change for space. And I think it just bit her in the butt with what, their kind of morals and, expectancy, like just kind of what they expect from their astronauts and just their whole mission in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm not surprised she left just because it just doesn't follow who she is, along with, her seeing Ed portray as someone who's like, I want to, follow by the rule, or, just follow
Yeah.
what, what I've been taught, through my
Yes.
training, my experience. And I think that really, pushed her to kind of do the same thing. Like, I'm going to follow my own heart and, pick out or at least choose what's best for me, best for my career and all that.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
Yeah. I was really glad that she would. I think Dev, like, he's sort of this. I think inside he wants to believe that he's a good person and has good intentions, and I do think there's part of him that probably does, but ultimately all he cares about is, you know, being first, being money. I think the writers probably could have made him a little bit more evil, a little bit more like kind of like, you know, show his background a little bit more. I think that because like to his point where he's like, you can't leave, no, don't leave, and then he like turns around and he's like, wait a minute, Karen, don't go, actually I need you, you're in breach of contract.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a part of him that wants to, like, he does care about the science, and he does, but the problem is when you become this big capitalist like company and all you care about is the money and being first and stuff, you get lost in your way, and I think that they did a good job of showing that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
The thing that kind of shocked me the most, and I feel bad for the most, is actually the whole debacle with U.S. and Russia with Margot. You know, like she tried to help our friend Sergey. That's his name, right? Sergey?
Yeah.
As much as she could, and she's trying to get him amnesty. I don't know if it's gonna fly. I mean, her one of her good friends is Ellen, right? And so maybe Ellen could pardon her and explain what happened. But I feel bad because she's gonna really get in trouble for this, because she shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, she can say, you know, it was my American duty to protect, and I don't know. What do you think's gonna come of that? Because Aleda's not leaving it alone.
No, she's not. Like, I was wondering how like Margot did like submit, you know, those designs to them without being caught. Obviously, you know, by simple look at an image, that's kind of how they figured it out, or at least Aleda did. So I think from what the last episode was showing, I think Margot was telling Aleda, right? She was gonna tell, or
she
at
said
least like
after we land and deal with all this, she's gonna reach out to the Department of Justice.
Exactly. Do you think, I don't even know if she's gonna do that though. Do you think she's just saying that, or?
I feel like I think that when we think about who NASA is, in this show at least, they're about doing the right thing, about the science, about rules, and I think she probably wants to get it under the rug. But there was sort of this look in her eyes, and I love Ren Schmidt, that's her name. I love the actors of this show. She had this slight little look of kind of like, okay, this is going on too far. I think I need to give this up. And so I think because of who her character is inside, she's gonna do that. What's interesting is, if you remember last episode, or maybe the previous episode, when we got the Miss President Ellen walked in, she was actually telling Aleda, she's like, oh, she's not one of us anymore. And, you know, like, you know, you can't really think that she's part of NASA, right? And it'll be interesting to see, like, after making that comment, President Ellen will have a chance to, like, kind of decide, is she still a part of that NASA family, or is she kind of moved on to the government? And that may sway the election as well for her and her future re-elections, right? Because if she pardons Margot, then people will be like, whoa, you're pardoning a traitor because she was with NASA, right? And I think to compare that to kind of today's, we see this thing where the president will pardon their friends, people they work with, businesses, and then they kind of get labeled as corrupt. And we think NASA is, you know, educational, it's government and all that. So people may see it as, okay, now the NASA is corrupt, because NASA in this world is the big corporation, right? So I think that she could end up getting into trouble.
Yeah, no, I think to stir up the drama of it, I think, it makes sense for her to get caught at the end of this. Whether it's her that admits it or someone that tells. So.
Yeah, and I think that will give us a little bit more of Ellen in this season, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So we saw a little bit of Ed and Danny is sort of like getting to the point where he's losing his mind and like he's getting frustrated. Like he was almost like bullying one of those coworkers to get the password a little bit.
Yeah.
He's just really nasty right now, and he's clearly got an issue and problem.
Not a good look.
No, and it's like your dad was this hero, you know, like, and your mom was this hero. Like, what are we doing?
I
Like,
know.
if my parents were heroes, I think I would be tiptoeing a little bit, trying to be like, you know, the poster boy to like live up to their image and name. But he is not like that at all. And so we see him start to like dive into people's records and their private messages. I thought that he was at that when him and Ed were looking face to face. I thought that he was gonna like mention the whole thing with Karen, because he was prying deeply into it, like who was another person and all this stuff.
Yeah, and it kind of seemed like a good moment for the show to have Ed realize, like, oh, maybe this was him.
Yes, it was Danny.
Cheated.
Yeah.
This was Danny that cheated, or that my wife slept with. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, Ed's probably clueless with
Yep.
with
Yeah,
all this.
Yeah, because when you think about it, I think like that was 10 years ago or something, right? Or like almost 8. So like he probably has no sort of clue that it would be him, and he's like, you know, this young kid, this young buck doesn't know anything. So why would she do that? To me, the way the tension and everything is rising right now, I feel next episode is gonna happen. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think with what just happened between Ed and Danny, aborting the mission, going back up in space, I think Danny's gonna be very mad at Ed for doing that, because he was telling him like, no, I can do this, like let me control the ship, and Ed's like, nope, we're going back up. So I think, you know, Danny's just gonna be like, just be mad at him, raging at him, and just be like,
that is gonna be
I slept with your wife.
Yeah, that is gonna be some cringy television to watch. Oh my god, like
absolutely.
like I'm gonna be like, when he finally says it, I'm gonna be like, like
my
skin's
gonna be like,
crawl,
no.
like
it's gonna be so cringy.
And then Karen, we're gonna be like sitting there like, oh god, now Karen has to deal with this too. Like, it's gonna be so cringy, dude. Like I can't even think about that. But finally, we do land on Mars, and NASA, their team wins. We actually see Ed's daughter, Kelly Baldwin. She sort of has a little bit of a romance going on with the Russian astronaut as well. Kind of cute. They have a little thing going on. That would be nice to see a little bit more of her. Like we think about like the future of this show, where it's going. I think Kelly's gonna be a big part of it, and maybe take on the Danielle role in the future as well.
Yeah.
Later we can see her taking on Margos' role. But that was a cute little romance between them. I think they were kind of teasing us to show, hey, this is what's coming forward. But they finally land. I was so mad when that Russian astronaut jumped out in front of Danielle. I'm like, what are you doing, boy?
Get back in there.
Right.
We saved your ass.
Right. And I liked how Danielle was like, she was like, oh, what are you doing? That is not what we agreed on. And she like whoop, zipped up and was like, ran after him.
Stumble out together.
Yeah, that was a great moment. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. It was fun. They gave us a lot of different things, and I think now we really set up for the juicy part of the season. Now we're gonna get some juicy things. Do you have any predictions what you think we'll see next week at all? We said Danny and Ed are gonna go to blows. Anything else?
Yeah, I think well, I know we passed the weather part from the trailers, showing that there was going to be some issues with the landing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe that comes back again.
Yeah.
That might.
That was a cool way. That was a cool way too to have like to make the Helios lose, is it being like something natural like that would have happened, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And I like how they play the science into this show a lot too. And I mean, for me, one thing I think we're gonna see next season is we haven't seen a lot of Molly. I think Molly may reappear in this. You may even see if Margot decides to step down. I don't know if she'll do it immediately or wait until they get home. You can see Molly potentially get back into the role or in NASA playing a role. I think that we talked about earlier, I think we're gonna see President Ellen and Margot have that like strong discussion. We'll see Danny and Ed go to blow. Yep. Karen seems to be sort of hanging out and chilling with Wayne Cobb. That was a funny little moment.
Yes,
he's like he comes onto the show and he's just so lovable, adorable, and everyone else is so stressed, and he's just like, you know what? Life's too short. Enjoy it.
I feel like every time we've seen him with Karen, he always knows how to like just calm her down.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
But kind of just through guidance and advice of, going through tough situations. He's always there for her, which I appreciate that, they have we are seeing a friendship that are not between like astronauts, like actual people.
Yes, and I think I can appreciate seeing more of that. And we saw a little bit of it before where the other Stevens boy, I can't even remember his name, like in the beginning, and with Danielle's son, I think that we potentially may see a little bit more of them too.
I hope so.
Going forward, because I agree. I like seeing that perspective. I like seeing what the other United States members have going on and like different changes that have occurred because of these things. Like we saw in the very intro of season 3, it showed you all the different like things that have changed because of science. So I would like to see a little bit more of that going forward too as well.
Me too.
But I'm enjoying the show as always. Like it's like this and The Boys. We just finished The Boys. Like every Friday, it's just nice to come at the end or like at the end of the weekend or or Monday on your lunch break to watch this show. I'm really enjoying it. So
yeah, me too. Well, we're almost halfway done, so
yeah, I know. It's like all right, before we head out, real quick, let me just check the NASA Live to see if we're getting these photos, if they're out, if they're ready.
It does look like they're doing the live stream now.
It looks like
nothing has been shown.
Yeah, it looks like it's going. He's going to give his opening remarks and all that. But Talia and I will take a look at that and have a whole other video about that and discuss. So make sure you comment down below and let us know what you thought about this week. And subscribe because we make new content every single week. And if you like For All Mankind, send this to one of your friends because there's not a lot of videos out there. We keep looking to find other people.
Yeah.
So this is sort of your For All Mankind home right now. Thanks for watching and tune in next time. See ya.